The horrors of the Great War belonged to another era: shell shock, mass death, and trench foot. Today, however, we will be looking at a different kind of horror: working in the Great War Redux. My previous video prompted a large number of former and current developers to reach out to me, some privately and others openly. This was to share their experiences working on the mod. I was initially conflicted about making this video. I had no desire to prolong drama or turn internal disputes into public spectacle. However, the sheer number of developers who came forward convinced me that these stories deserve to be told. Previously, I discussed how the Great War Redux was once one of the most acclaimed mods in the Hearts of Iron 4 community, before entering a period of sharp decline. What is often overlooked is that it was not always this way. The current state of the mod did not emerge overnight, and much of its deterioration into today's hellscape all leads back to the infamous head developer from last video, Dementsiya, whose role in shaping the mod's present condition cannot be ignored. As such, before we begin, below in the description will be links to a document featuring the transcripts of each developer's stories, a document with evidence filing, and a petition to remove Rustic, or Dementsiya as many call him, from the mod. As such, we will be witnessing the spectacle of how a single man could take one of the most acclaimed Hearts of Iron 4 mods ever and turn it into the cesspool it is today. But to do that, we must see how this all began. The Great War Redux wasn't always a nightmare. Silent Enforcer, the previous head developer, kept the server comparatively normal compared to now. While Silent was good, he wasn't and still isn't great. The key point, however, is that there was less drama. Content flowed more smoothly and developers could work. Creativity was allowed to exist. Then came Dementsiya, also known as Rustic. Initially a moderator at first, he was already argumentative, combative, and controlling. Every disagreement became a battle. Every idea he opposed risked being overridden or destroyed. And here's the problem: Silent Enforcer always backed Dementsiya no matter if he was right or wrong, even with evidence, to the point where the developers made an edit 3 years ago exposing this. Link in description. In a nutshell, Dementsiya had immunity. An entire council was formed to remove him when nearly every developer wanted him removed. But like again, Silent Enforcer backed Dementsiya. The result became, when Silent Enforcer temporarily retired, Dementsiya became co-owner. That was the real turning point. A developer called it the event that killed the mod's collaborative spirit. The developers lost motivation. Entire teams went dark. Reworks collapsed. Work began to stall. Some weeks, months, years of effort became sidelined, all because of server politics. But it wasn't just politics. Dementsiya and Silent are real life friends, bound together through years of shared decisions, online networks, and even personal circumstances. But this led to a horrible effect. It created a toxic leadership entrenched at the top. It is unchecked, untouchable due to real life bonds. From going from a moderator to a co-owner, Dementsiya seized control. The mod, once promising, became his playground for unchecked revisionism, political bias, and authoritarian control. The Great War Redux still suffers from this now. But how so? The Great War Redux dev team is a nightmare of mismanagement. Chaos reigns in all parts of the developer team. Authority is concentrated in a few hands, with Rustic at the very top. Decisions about entire country reworks, focus trees, and content approval tend to flow through him when he feels like it, which is quite often. Teams are supposed to be divided into regions, with the Great War Redux supposed to give varying autonomy to teams to make content, such as Japan, Qing China, Ottoman Empire, Europe, etc. But these teams mean nothing if Rustic intervenes. Developers reported to me that weeks of work was scrapped on a whim, and regional leads are dismissed or ignored completely, with Rusik pulling his authority on these poor developers, even if they're from the region itself. Communication is horribly inconsistent, extremely uneven, and usually toxic and hostile. Developers are discouraged from discussing ideas outside the narrow Rusik-approved narrative, and cross-team collaboration collapses under Rusik's micromanagement. The result is a team that exists in name only. People show up, they contribute where they can, but fear of the regime destroys collaboration and creativity. The chaos shows itself in the level of work coming out of the team. Reworks constantly are being delayed, cancelled, or just being updated to horrible standards. Dementsiya fires those who disagree. Want to be initiative or creative? If Rusik doesn't like it, you're gone. He destroys content. East Asia rework collapsed. Japan scrapped. Qing submod integration cancelled. Weeks, months, and years of work tossed out simply because Rusik insists on getting his way of historical accuracy based off a few Wikipedia articles he found on some sketchy Russian website. He dismisses experts from the region in the team and then wonders why everyone hates the reworks. He harasses and insults developers who oppose him. Developers recall Rusik telling the Asia team to F off, claiming he didn't listen to uncivilized Orientals. Developers were called the R word for disagreeing and threatened with their work being deleted. Whilst slurs are debatably okay depending on who you talk to, should you be insulting your own developers? No, because it's led to entire teams quitting, some losing the motivation never to return to modding at all. He abuses his power. Developers were promised he would be restrained. That promise was broken. He regained full authority, driving swarms of developers away from the mod. The fun to develop content is taken away and content becomes bloated, political bias becomes enforced, and reworks become incompatible, such as the Germany and North Africa border goal he added without consulting the respective teams days before the updates were released, breaking the updates. He is always hostile to anyone who disagrees. Multiple developers were forced to scrap work they had spent months on. Iran, Germany, the Ottoman Empire, Japan, the Qing submod integration, all destroyed by Rusik's unconsulted decisions and complete totalitarian control. This isn't even bad leadership, it's abysmal, and I honestly regret labeling the entire team like that because it's clear the developer team has been hijacked by Rusik and his extreme revisionist power. Obedience is prioritized over talent. Developers are scared to be creative. Rusik didn't just ruin the mod, he mentally destroyed the people making it. And it's not just Rusik who does this. People like Captain Luck, former head of art and our current head of the Hoi4 art server, were constantly reported as toxic and controlling of other artists, with witnesses reporting that they would attack those who did not adhere to her wishes, something that she has carried over to the Hoi4 art server, but that's for another video. But the pattern is clear. Rusik, and by extension Silent Enforcer, is behind majority of the mod's issues, whilst those such as Captain Luck and the group of PR problems I can't mention all contribute to this. If leadership stays like this, the Great War Redux dies from the inside out, as the remaining devs who aren't kissing Rusik's shoes become too scared to work on anything out of complete fear or just leave altogether. An unchecked echo chamber and the heavy dose of ideological bias paired with blatant cronyism caused this to happen. Rusik and others like him actively destroyed the mod from the inside, scarring talent, killing content, and destroying trust. The Great War Redux's mod development has become gutted and slow, and honestly, I doubt this culture will go away, because in fact, Dementsiya has been purging anyone suspected of being disloyal the last few days, to the point the high-ranking developer I interviewed got banned after the interview for trying to call for reforms to the server, to the point that we had to do a second interview because the first one was too bad because he got banned. As you can tell, the developer team obviously took my video pretty well, so I genuinely believe majority of those left in the mod are despicable people. As such, I believe the mod will continue to lose its potential to fear, ego, and authoritarian control, all coming from one man and his friend, Russic and Silent Enforcer, his loyalist goons at their side. They removed all the public evidence of this also, but thankfully, I preserved it all. You can check it out in the description. Now, I didn't want to become a drama channel, but I believed that it was my responsibility to bring these misdeeds and stories from developers to light for the sake of the community. So consider the matter settled. Do not harass these individuals even if you dislike what they have done, and instead of targeting their mod, support a competitor instead.